Hey Alex, hope you're well. I think today I'm just gonna work on a adoptable. This is gonna be a short stream because I want to spend more time on the commissions. One of them I'm almost done with. Take a look at you real quick. Something a little bit simpler. Yeah, can do you. We're doing this one today. There we go. Do-do-do. That's good. Some of the commissions I can't work on because it has to do with nudity and stuff like that. That, and I don't know if the people that I have commissions for would want them to be streamed. So there's that too. Alright. I want her skull, like, face paint thing to look more skeletonish. But yeah, just gonna do something simple for today. True. But at that point, I was just kind of almost done, and plus it was my characters, so I was just kind of like, eh. But you do have a point. I think I was just, like, ready to finish it, though. But yeah, it's mostly just because of the nudity stuff. You know, I know. In your case, I figured, like, even if that was the reason, I figure you're one of those types that would be okay with it, but I'm unsure about other people. So you were more of a safe bet. Save this now. looks like she has a underbite. Make her a little bit more happy. But yeah, hopefully I can finish the commissions this week, because I want to get them all done. I know a couple are technically on semi-hold because they're not fully paid, but that's not a big deal because it'll get there when it gets there. This one, her story is basically she goes out hunting and gets into her own little shenanigans, whether it be sexy or not. And there's like one story I was thinking where her tribe is like in the middle of a whole like mating thing, and so it's either going to be males go after her to breed, or she catches a male for herself to bang. So one or the other, or both. You know, can always do both stories. It's not like it's only one or the other. And she's small too. She is shorty. And then the sooner I'm done with commissions, the sooner I can get back to the other stuff that I've been working on. Get her head shaken. But yeah, I could totally see her like thinking that her clock is ticking or something, and so she goes on the hunt for the males of her tribe. It just starts swinging her a club or something. Yeah. Because there's like areas in their world where it's still tribal. Like they don't have technology and stuff like that. One of those deep forest type areas. Okay, how are we doing this? So I'm trying to treat some of this face tattoo as more of a mask, and then I can give the other parts of her either tattoos or make it like part of her like a bone thing. Or can even do like a storyline where it's like mating season, and like one of the males is like, "Oh, all right, mating season," because it's like, I don't know, their first one or something. But then like all the other males are like dreading it because they're like, "What? What's wrong?" And then they're like, "Kou." It's like Kou is relentless. Actually, let's do it this way. That way the eye holes are a little smaller. And then like have the male be like, "Oh, it's not that big of a deal," or "It can't be that bad." And then, I don't know, gets pounded, literally. Or even have like them do like the running joke where it's like, "Oh, I offer his tribute," and like the male is like, not thinking it's gonna be that bad or that big of a deal, and then proceed as normal. Do I want her eye to be like that? Nah, because it's too similar to the Creamfield girls. I mean, they're not going to show up, but might as well just make it normal. Yeah. Like, she would, normally she's good at hunting to begin with. So she has, like, traps and other gadgets. That she's made. Mostly because she's so small, so she definitely has to make up for it. And I don't know, it could, like, part of it could be kind of like a bondage thing too, since she'll be capturing the males. Hello, Pablo. Debating on if she'd have a weapon that's bigger than her. Probably. She seems the type that would do so. Or if we wanted to make it comedic, it could be like a Tom and Jerry thing where she's trying to catch a male and the males keep outrunning her. And she's getting more and more frustrated. Yeah, let's make that a little bit shorter. Yeah, just doing a quick picture for the day because I want to get back to working on commissions, and some of them I can't work on the stream, so rather just put a little time into this, because eventually I'm going to draw all of the adopts that I have, so might as well chip away at it. next month I'm gonna be getting doing a lot of stuff that I've been working on, or putting things out that I've been wanting to work on. This character has an interesting bit of history, because originally this character was supposed to be a contest prize, and someone won, but then told the artist that they didn't want the character for some reason, and so the artist asked if I wanted her, so I said sure. So it was strange. I was like, huh, why would the person not want the character? Yeah, exactly. So that just makes it worse for the males if they're clever enough to be outwitting her traps. Because all it's doing is making them more and more alluring. She's like, oh, I got a smart one. And she got some thighs on her too. And since she's like a part of the whole tribal thing, her last name is Skullbreaker, so probably because she likes to knock them out with her big thighs first, and then take them home. She's like, come on, fall asleep, fall asleep. Then they wake up strapped to her bed or whatever the hell she sleeps on. Make it like a thing where the males wait for her to catch somebody before they pursue other women. Or it can even make like a situation where one of the males forgets what day it is and everyone else is hiding and locked the doors or something, or just hid and they took all the good hiding spots. It's like, where is everybody? It's like, you idiot! Do you know what day it is? Or it could even be like a competition thing where all the females are hunting, and Kou is like the most persistent one because she'll rack up like a high number of how many mates that she's captured on that specific day. There's a lot of ideas that can happen with this. She just has like in her cave or whatever, wherever she lives, she just has like a wall that just has a tally of how many mates she's gotten in that day. That'd be cute. And she kind of speaks a bit in tribal talk or whatever. She'll be like, Kou aiming for 30 this year. Talks in the third person. Yeah, right. Like, as the year goes by, she just gets hornier. Haven't decided how the whole children thing plays out, though. Because it's like, okay, so do they have many children, or what? Haven't decided on that. Because, like, if they do have many children, it's like, okay, do they fend them for themselves, send them out in the world, or is it just the tribe just has many children running around, and like a good chunk of them are hers? We'll see. Actually, let's tweak these. Where they could even have like some ritual where they all place the eggs in like a river and just let fate decide where they end up. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas at this point. this more. It'd actually be funny if some of the males from the tribe were Kous. Like those were her kids. It's like, yeah, I think most of the tribe is related to her. She just has like this proud look on her face. Little gremlin. Or it's even worse if an outsider shows up. Hello. You're fine. This is going to be a short stream anyway. I don't know. I feel like I should change the one that's the lower mark that's on her. Just so it's in a more favorable position. Yeah, I think I'll change that. Oops. Just so it's a little bit more patterned on her. Should be alright. And then for this one, make it a little bit more to the side. Yeah, This is from this adopt is from Saucy. And she was originally a contest prize, but the person who won didn't want her, and so Saucy asked if I wanted her, and I said sure. Why nobody wanted this character baffles me. I think from what I remember, they said that they kind of just entered the contest without really thinking. And then they just told Saucy that they didn't want the character. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. But I ain't complaining, shoot. Oh yeah, didn't realize, but the voice actor for Invader Zim did Alpha 5 from Power Rangers, and I was just kind of like, wait, what? Or like, not even that, because they had that recent trailer for the special that's coming out next month, and I heard Alpha 5's voice, and I was like, is that who I think it is? And so I looked it up, and I was like, yeah, he did Alpha 5 way back then. So that was tripping out. Oh yeah, Kou is definitely on the boat. Let me go grab that real quick. I think I put them in here. Nope, wasn't that one. Ah, here it is. Yeah, Kou was right here. Goes down a bit. I'm muted? No. Oh, that was you. Okay. For a brief moment, I was like, wait, what? What did I do? There's a hotkey to mute. Yeah, sounds about right. Just like the tab key being an annoyance. or the caps lock key. But that hasn't been a problem in a long ass time. At least not for me. I don't know about everybody else. Just shorter over a bit. Okay. I think I might want to move things over. Especially since this horn is in a weird position. I need to do the spikes that are on her cheeks. Slant this just a little bit more. Yeah. It's also probably the angle that she's in. Week's okay, just been busy with the commissions. Which is why I put the comics on hold for now. But I want to get them done this week, so I can get back to it next week. Or this weekend. Because I figured the sooner I get done with the commissions, the sooner I don't have to worry about them. No, they're not stressful, they're just time consuming. And then some of them took a bit to figure out what was wanted, because some of them just, you know, communication with the commissioners and all that, so it just took time. And so I'm trying to do them in the order that I got them in terms of messaging and payment and stuff like that. This is likely going to be behind her. I do think I'm going to handle commissions differently in the future, because I don't think there's really a fair way to give everybody a chance without everything being on one site. So I think in the future, if I do open for commissions again, I'm just gonna do it through the auction, and then based on how much is spent, we'll decide the art style that I use for it, or the quality, like line art and cell shading and all that. Because the only other option would be to just open commissions on each site individually and treat it that way. Oh yeah, because all of them filled up in like less than 3 minutes. And a majority of them were from Fur Infinity. So nobody from Ink Bunny got a spot. And only one person from DeviantArt got a spot. So yeah, there was like no real way of handling that without it being a very specific situation. And that's fine, because treat this as like big old slab of wood that she probably carved out or something. And yeah, like it was all based on time too, so. But yeah, I think in the future I'll just use the auction to handle it. And luckily for auctions, I can put in multiple slots if I want. So that'll be useful in the future. If there's a way to pull that off, maybe. I might tie it into a Patreon thing. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. If someone gets upset, there's nothing really that I can do about it. But that's why I'm trying to make it more fair in the future by tying it to an auction thing. Because it's like, well, here it is. And yeah, I know that people just can't spend a lot, and I understand that. But there's really no other way to make it fair. Without it being a Hunger Games situation. Especially since I do multiple sites. But yeah, we'll see. I definitely won't be taking as many commissions as I have, because it's just a lot of time to be soaking into it, so I'm definitely going to limit it to only one per person. It's just a lot. But I figured since I hadn't been open for like 2 years, I might as well be a little bit more generous with how many I can take on. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's like I'm at a point where I think phasing out commissions just might be a thing that I stick to. But I'm trying to like at least open up every once in a while. And if I do, I think auctioning is the best option for it. Bigger tail, a little bit more plump. Yeah. It is a good indicator that people like what I do. And that's why I'm trying to be more fair about it. But unfortunately, the only way to do that is to either only open up on specific sites at a time or the auction. And I honestly think the auction is probably the better choice. I think I'm gonna reduce the amount of whatever these bones are called. rib cage thingies. I don't know what they're called for tails. But I think I'm just gonna limit these to the number of spines or the number of spikes. Spine cage. And then somebody on this boat will be appearing in iHat pretty soon. So that's going to be fun. Except for these two. These two aren't. These two characters over here I do not own. They're just fan art stuff that I did. But yeah, somebody on this boat is going to show up in iHat. So that would be fun. Let's see. Out of this list, I will mark off 2 who will not be showing up. Nepta and Kou. Those are the only 2 not showing up. That I'm going to say. Technically, 2 of them are going to be showing up in iHat, but one of them has more of a storyline, well, more to do than the other. But initially, only one of them is. So yeah, that'll be fun to think about. Go back to Kou. Well, hopefully next week. It's either going to be next week or the week after. We'll find out. I want to say next week. Or at least the next page, I should say. It's someone on the boat. It's like, it's someone on this boat. Boat has like 30 characters on it. Or seriously, how many characters are on this damn thing? Oops. Save just in case. There are let's see. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Oh, nope. Only 24. I'm making sure. Yep. Only 24. Well, yes, it narrowed it down because I said 2 of them were not part of it. So only 24 or 22 to think about. There you go, that wasn't too bad. Give her a little bit more lashes. There we go. A little bit bigger. I'm trying to accommodate for when this gets put on a card. There's likely like a guide or something that would help for that, but I'm fine just winging it. First. And that should be good. Okay. Looks like her spikes are the same color as the bones, but I'm gonna make the bones have a different texture. Make her teeth a little bit dirty since she's tribal. She wouldn't be able to clean them like polish or anything like that. Just clean them the standard way. I could totally see Kou like dragging in her mate who's tied up and unconscious, and has like all of her children just, you know, chilling somewhere, and she's all like, "Everybody out! I got you a new daddy." Just some humor. Sorry I'm so quiet, just kinda going through the motions. Hello, welcome. Oh, she's gonna be part of the I Had short stories in the future. Oh yeah, I forgot to color that part. Her thing at the moment is that she's really aggressive during mating season of her tribe. this looks. Yeah, 50's fine. That she is. She is very breedable. And she'll make you remember that. But she's a short stack. So she's short, but she's thick. She wakes up in the morning and is like, oh, it's breeding day. Better go grab my hammer. Or club, in this case. She's like, oh boy, better go grab my club. Oh yes, definitely. She'll be breaking some pelvises. It's like, this is gonna hurt. Oh yes, she breaks pelvises. Because the male will be like, well, at least breeding season's over, and she's like, over? Like, it's not over till Kou says it's over. As she grins, as she gets back on the bed and crawls at them, towards them. And they just have like a fearful look on their faces. And then I can see Kou gossiping with like the other women, and she'd be saying like, Kou got good mate this year. They only cried a little bit after breaking pelvis, or some shit like that, or this season or something. It's like they only cried 2 times this time. It would be funny if like all the men had like markings on their bodies for how many times Kou has caught them for mating season. Oh, yes. Because you're, like, slamming into one of them. She's like, come on, put your back into it. Or it's like, put your back into Kou's back. Come on. She'll be fun. Or it could even be where mating season isn't even supposed to be like a hunting competition, but Kou just makes it a sport. Because that's like the most efficient way to find a suitable mate. Pretty much. And she'll like probably have like traps set up prior to the day. And it's like, oh shit. Kou. It's like, wait, where's Kou? And it's like, oh shit, she's setting up for tomorrow. And all the males are like, shit, I don't know where to go. Or like some of the experienced ones already take up the best hiding spots, so the younger ones have to fend for themselves. maybe like one male manages to avoid Kou entirely. But then it just makes her more eager to try to catch that one. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just throwing out ideas at the moment. But can definitely see Kou being a manhunter. Can see Kou not being put off by her height. She's like, that's okay. God's blessed Kou with big bottom to make up for small height. Yeah, she speaks in the third person. Plus they live in like the tribal stuff, so they're not super fluent with normal language. But could totally see like the majority of her tribe is probably related to her in some way. It's like how many offspring has Kou had? We lost count. There even be situations where she's caught more than one male. Like she's heading back to her cave and she's like dragging like 3 or 4 and she's like, ooh, this was a good year for Kou. Nah, she wouldn't kill them. But they definitely won't be walking anytime soon. Kinda counterintuitive to kill them. You definitely enjoy the ones who can outrun her the most. Which is why she resorts to traps, because traps will potentially get the good ones. Not my favorite, but this particular music is royalty free, so it's useful for streaming. I'll listen to pretty much anything though, except country. Country is just boring as fuck to me. Like, I can tolerate it if it's on, but most of the time I don't go out of my way to listen to it. Unless it's like a really specific song that I like. Polish Disco Polo. I have no idea if I've heard any of that before. I'll have to look it up sometime. Let's try this one. I've been warned. I will say some Hispanic music is a little boring too, because a lot of them kind of have the same beat. It's like it's not entirely bad, but after a while it just feels samey. And that kind of happens pretty quickly. And that might be because growing up, there was... Because when I used to live in apartments, there was like another set of apartments behind the ones that my family lived in. And they would blast music like at 9 p.m. at night all the way to like 2 in the morning or even later. Even on like a weekday. And it would be so... it was just really annoying, especially since the music was the same, like... I think it was a accordion being used at the same time. Along with like a horn, so it was like dun 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 dun. It was like that for like hours. And I think that just soured my taste for that kind of music. It's like, if you want to torture somebody, just do that. Or whatever the hell they were using, it sounded like an accordion. All I know is that it was the music was not good. Yeah, they would be blasting that music. Even on a weekday. And I was like, what, 10 or so when that shit was going on? Maybe younger than that? Yeah, so that experience has made it worse. I think the only time I listened to anything in Spanish was watching Dragon Ball Z on the Spanish channel back when we didn't have Cartoon Network. I think that was the only time that I gave a shit. It's like, nope, gotta watch Dragon Ball Z in Spanish. Fuck do I care what they're saying? I'm sure some stuff I understood, but yeah, those were the times. Could totally see a story where someone from the outside is like observing Kou and her tribe, and he keeps taking pictures of her butt. And then, I don't know, maybe eventually Kou finds out and sees all the pictures that were taken. And she doesn't know what to think. She'll probably be like, is Kou's butt really that big? And then all of the men, including the outsider, all just nod and glare. Or just nod and agree with each other. They're like, oh yeah. Kou's got a fat ass. Or it could be that Kou will actively catch every man in the tribe, but the one who lasts the longest is the one that she fucks. It could be like that because she goes for survival skills. I got the new Beast Complex volume, and it was really good. I enjoyed the stories in those. It even teases a little continuation of Legoshi and Haru's relationship. Yeah, I know a third one's gonna be out soon though, but I got the first two. Beast Complex is basically the continuation of Beastars, but it's more focused on just individual character stories rather than trying to make it like this big grand thing. Because I think that's what the author really wanted to do, and didn't want to do. It didn't want to turn Beastars into like a battle manga, which it was slowly becoming towards the end. So I think Beast Complex is just a way for her to get back to what she really wanted to do. Because that's what Beastars was in the beginning. It was more character focused rather than trying to be all stronger type of thing, which most shonen stories end up doing. Because I still think it was weird when they tried doing that Chimera thing in Beastars. Like, that was when it was starting to be like, alright, now I'm questioning where this is going. Yeah. Like, it had little moments here and there, but then, like, when it came to, like, Legoshi and whatever he was dealing with, it was, like, slowly becoming more of a battle manga. Like, even with the whole Chimera thing, it was like, who the hell pushed that idea? Like, it made sense in concept of just, like, projecting, like, your inner self as, like, a spiritual thing. But then it was, like, also seeming like it was trying to be, like, a JoJo thing. And I was like, I think the individual character focus was, or the short character focuses were a lot better. Because it was just, you know, characters trying to live in the world that they live in and deal with, you know, a lot of the bullshit that comes about it, where it's like, you know, predators have to worry about, you know, killing their friends or succumbing to eating meat and stuff like that. Or, like, certain characters have a hard time because of their body type and stuff like that. Like, all that was just better. So Beast Complex just focuses hard on that, and I think it's really good for it. But it does give you, like, a little, at least in the second book, there's like a little extra development between Legoshi and Haru, and it's really cute. Yeah, like, there's like one story of a pig who, because, like, some of the characters that show up in Beast Complex did show up in Beastars, and at least in the second book, it focuses heavily on a lot of Legoshi's apartment friends, and one of them is a pig who does taxidermy, and in the second volume, it talks about how he basically preserves the deceased by turning them into taxidermies. And it's really interesting because there's, like, a character who comes by and sees all of it, and he has, like, his own thoughts and opinions over it, but then it gets kind of dark over what that character wants to do. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I like her little feet too. I will have to lighten this up more because she's got a lot of dark spots on her. But that's okay. I can do that in the next step. Or next section after I do this. But yeah, Beast Complex is really good. And I like that it's a continuation of Beastars. Or, like, set in the same world as Beastars. There's, like, a really messed up story that has to do with a character's fur. So yeah, if you guys ever check it out, I think you'll like it. I know it's a lot further along right now because the third book hasn't released in English, but I think it might be further than that in the Japanese version. But I don't know. I haven't been following the Japanese one. Like, I read the first few chapters when it was in Japanese, and then once they said that they were releasing them in English, I was like, alright, I'm not going to read any of it because I'm going to let myself be surprised. And the English books always have, like, extra little mini comics too, including the B-Star ones. And it's always fun hearing what the author's thoughts and stuff, or seeing the author's thoughts on certain things, like how they came up with certain ideas and in scenery and characters and character ideas and stuff like that. And in Beast Complex, they even show that Legoshi is actually a much older character who didn't have a name at the time. So you see, like, the first version of him before he got used for Beastars. Because, like, some of the stories take place in different timeline or moments in time. Beastars was incredibly dark in moments. Yeah, right. Yeah, and in Beast Complex they focus a lot on that. They still focus on stuff like that, where certain creatures go for a higher price because of certain types of body types or fur and stuff like that. So it's really fucked up. That's still a thing, and they all just kind of have to accept it and just, you know, try to keep an eye out and not go places where they're not supposed to be. And, like, they showed off one of the characters in Beastars who shows up in Beast Complex, but, like, it was like the relationship between a mouse and an eagle, I think it was. And how she lets her, or she is his sugar mama because he can fly her to work faster, and he has, like, a flying license. So they just live together, and she's the sugar mama. So there's that situation, and I always thought that was cute. I was like, oh yeah, I'd totally do that for a story. Have, like, some size difference going on. Size difference is always fun. Almost done. And then, interesting enough, Sega celebrated the 30th anniversary of Sonic Spinball, which is very interesting because that game in particular they consider canon to the main Sonic the Hedgehog games. And also in that game are the Freedom Fighters from the Sad AM cartoon. So the fact that Sega is celebrating that particular game is very interesting. So hopefully more comes from that. because they put up like artwork from that game, or to represent that game. So I was like, oh, are we going somewhere with this? Please. So might be a slow burn, but hopefully something comes of that. Yeah, like I'll even be happy to start them off with the comics again. Like put them in the comics, let them regain their popularity, and then put them in the games. Because Sonic Frontiers already mentions Tangle from the comics. So if they're starting to mention comic characters more, it's like, oh, can we get those characters into the games? Because Whisper and Tangle have character models from the cell phone game, so they can easily just take those models and put them into a game at some point. Like, it doesn't have to be Sonic Frontiers. It can be a future game that's after Frontiers, since Frontiers did so well, and the guy in charge of it definitely says that there are ideas that he wants to do for future Sonic games. So, hopefully that goes somewhere. Fun speculating the story. Oh yeah, it was fun talking about Beastars when we were still trying to figure out what was going on. Beastars is still one of my favorite comics. That was definitely a good time to get into that. Just waiting for like every Friday or so for the next chapter in the Japanese version. I was like, come on, yes, start reading. True. There was a animation somebody did of Surge using one of the soundtracks from Sonic Spinball. Let me see if I can find it. Sonic Surge animation. And I'll just put this in the chat if I find it. Yeah, there it is. Copy link address. Here it is. Enjoy that. Well, I will say Spinball didn't have the best music in the world, but there was definitely good music in the other Sonic games, especially Sonic 2 to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Yeah, you probably did post it. But yeah, that animation using that music was great, especially how it fucking got on Starline's nerves. He was just like, kill me. I'm very interested to see where Surge and Kitsunami go in the future. Because they got way more than enough to go off of now. Surge's story is so sad, though. Luckily, this is a good way to help brighten up certain parts of the characters. And it doesn't entirely have to be perfect. No, because the Freedom Fighters existed before Ken Penders even even worked on the comics, because they appeared in the cartoon first. So Sega does own them. So he can't do dick about that. I think the one character that everyone will question of ever returning is Shade the Echidna, because if she ever comes back, they will have to overhaul her backstory and almost make her an entirely new character. Because if they use her the way they did for Sonic Chronicles, then Ken is gonna start shit over that. And then plus there's BioWare being a part of her creation, so I don't know if it's like a joint thing in that situation or not. But Shade the Echidna is definitely going to be a fucking miracle character if she ever comes back to the series. And like, Sega owns her, but the problem is Ken's bullshit with the story and all that. Which is weird, because Ken tried to like use Shade as part of Julie Sue, well, whatever Julie Sue is in his like new comic that he's making that still hasn't come out yet for like the past several years. He's trying to say that Julie Sue is also referred to as Shade, and everyone's like, bullshit. So, yeah. That whole scenario is such a clusterfuck. And partly it's because of Archie's lawyers being fucking dumbasses. Although I still think that's because one of the documents that they have with Ken's contract was lost. Because I remember a long time ago of them saying there was a fire that happened at Archie, and that fire was probably what happened with Ken's contract. Because after that was when Ken was trying to claim ownership of all of his characters and all that nonsense. But that was like a long ass time ago. I have no idea where to find that information again. I mean, for all I know, it's on like a wiki or something, but I remember reading that a long time ago. I think the sad part about that whole scenario is like Ken taking the characters just doesn't make sense on his end anymore. Because it's like, okay, you took the characters because you want royalties for them or whatever the case may be. You know, he wants to license them out. But then it's like the only people who are gonna ever want to use those characters is Sega, or you know, whoever's tied to Sega in terms of like the comics and shit. And due to the whole, like, there probably was a situation where Ken could have got money from the characters being used, but because he handled the situation such an asshole, there's no way in hell Sega's gonna ever deal with him now. So he went through all that trouble to get characters. He basically can't use outside of his own work. And then everyone is so pissed off at him that his own work is going to suffer for it. And then he has to like change the characters' designs anyway for his own work. So they're not even going to be the same characters that he ended up taking. And I don't know. He just kind of put himself in a corner there. And then all the talk he's been saying about, you know, his comic and stuff coming out and stuff like that. He's been saying that for like what, a decade now, and nothing's been released. And I think right now he's like trying to make it a mobile app and have like voice acting and stuff. And I'm just kind of like, isn't this something you should do after you've made the comic? Why are you doing all this extra work now? And then he did try to, I think last year he tried to license out Scourge the Speed Demon, as they had to call him, which that part doesn't make sense because he didn't make Scourge, he made, air quotes, evil Sonic. So taking the name Scourge and making it look like the Scourge that became green and had the scar on his chest, that design he does not own. So technically Sega or Archie or whoever could go after him for that, because that's not his character. But even then, that whole situation fell through anyway, because I guess one of the artists or writers was doing some shady shit on the side. So that comic ended up getting canceled anyway. So, yeah. So, all that for nothing. Like, I think you could look it up and find the cover to that comic, but it didn't. Ended up getting canceled because there's just a whole bunch of shit that happened after that. And then all of the fans were so fucking pissed about it because there's like, that's not even your character. Because he owns Evil Sonic, he can use Evil Sonic, which again won't help him because that has its own issues. Because it's like, okay, you own Evil Sonic, but you didn't make Sonic, so I don't know what you were trying to achieve there. Because Evil Sonic doesn't work unless Sonic exists. And so he tried to use Scourge, but Scourge isn't his character because he didn't design that. So yeah, that whole scenario is just, I don't know what the goal here was anymore. And the funniest part out of that whole thing is that technically Ken didn't even win the court case about his characters. It was just that Archie or I don't know if it was Archie or Sega, but one of them decided to settle and give him the characters. And that's how he owns the characters. So it wasn't even that he won a court case, it was just because they settled. So there's a chance that if they had not settled, then there's the potential that he would not have gained those characters had that continued on in court. So there's that to think about. But oh well. All that happened, and now Sega basically restarted their comic series, and now we have Ian Flim to go to do a lot of the heavy lifting with character lore and stuff. I know, right? That's exactly what people said. Like, man, to be a fly on that wall in that courtroom, just to know what the fuck happened. Because, like, even though they couldn't produce the contract of Ken working for Archie at during a specific year, they did produce that he had they did produce a copy of a contract of Ken working there. And Ken tried to argue that, you know, it's a copy, it's not usable, but it is usable in court. So I think that's why they opted to settle after a certain point, which was stupid on Archie's end, or whoever the lawyers were. I think it was Archie's. It was stupid to settle on that end, but I think at a certain point it would have been in their favor. But I think the lawyers just didn't know what the fuck they were doing in that scenario, which is weird because they've dealt with court cases before, so I don't know if this was just like a rare chance of them fucking up. But yeah, that's how all that worked out. It was like such a like 0.1% chance of that working out that it was just like I don't even know how we got here. But Ian did what he could to salvage it, and then now that Sega just has a complete reboot, they can kind of be more strong with how they handle the property. And hopefully if whatever characters they do own can return and, you know, not get shafted. But when it comes to Knuckles' backstory and all that, that's gonna be a fucking brain puzzle there, because it's like, okay, so Knuckles is the last of his tribe. We figured that's always been in the games, and like, you know, the lore behind all that. So now the question is, how do they handle that when they're trying to develop Knuckles? Because if they don't do it a certain way, then Ken is gonna try to jump on that, because he tried to do that for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the Universal movie, because of the echidnas and the Master Emerald thing, and the echidna that got all superpowered, which looked like Enerjack. So Ken was going to drum up a storm about that, but I don't know if that went anywhere. But yeah, that was a thing that was going to happen, and I was like, yep. Virtually anything that even remotely close to what Ken did, he's going to jump on that. Yeah, I hope she comes back. I mean, well, I'm sure she'll come back, but I wonder what they're going to do with her in future games, especially if she shows up in the comics, because she could be like something similar to Nicole or Adam from the Archie comics and all that, because she's basically like that for Dr. Robotnik. So if, assuming Nicole returns from the Sad AM series, I could totally see Nicole and her being pen pals. And that would be cute, because they're both AIs. I'm just going to erase that. She doesn't need it. But yeah, I think it would be cool if Nicole returns, then her and Sage should be pen pals. And, like, it should be, like, a mystery at first. It's just, like, the two just talking back and forth to each other, but, like, none of the factions know about it. And then not until, like, a certain point where Robotnik is like, who are you talking to? And it's like, oh, my pen pal, Nicole. He's like, Nicole? And then, you know, you can either use that as, like, a plot thing for, like, Robotnik trying to infiltrate the Sonic's friends and all that, or whatever else you want to do with it. But yeah, hopefully the Freedom Fighters come back, because they are definitely a huge part of Sonic's history. Because like it or not, the Western side of Sonic the Hedgehog is made way more lore bits than the Japanese side. And so many characters have come from it. Granted, not everybody has to return, but at least the Freedom Fighters, they're like core. But I do have to admit that some of the jobs that the Freedom Fighters had were given to other characters in the current comics. So that's going to be a bit of a obstacle to get through. I mean, you could always just establish that Sally and her group are from another area, and then they, you know, come over to cooperate and stuff like that. I mean, they can always just address them as new characters, like Sonic meeting them for the first time, since the IDW comics are canon to the games. They can set it up where Sonic can, well, since they're canon to the games, that means Sonic can reference that he's met them during the Spinball thing, the Spinball arc or storyline game, whatever, like however you want to spin it. He can just reference that, and that's how he's aware of them, and then go from there. So that way Sonic's not in the dark, but other characters can be. I would say Sonic and Tails are probably the only two that would know about them, because Tails was around when that game showed up, because it's part of the beginning of the game. But other than that, everybody else would have to be caught up, or at least you know, introduced to the characters. So it's completely doable. The only thing holding it back at this point is just Sega giving the okay. But hopefully that there's hope in that, since they're celebrating Sonic Spinball. It probably won't happen anytime soon, if I'm being honest, but at least there's like a shimmer of light. Yeah, right? Even Ugly Sonic had his moment to shine. The fact that they called him Ugly Sonic just makes it funnier. Because it's like literally a character name. It's like, this character's name is Ugly Sonic. And the fact that they used it is just makes it funnier. But yeah, there is a shimmer of hope. I just hope it happens before my lifetime is over. I'm gonna be like 100 and find out like they brought back the Freedom Fighters. Like, yay! I'll still buy whatever box set or something. I mean, I have the box set for Sonic Sat AM, which I'm happy for. I remember seeing that commercial. It's like, oh, the Saturday morning Sonic the Hedgehog is coming on DVD. I was like, what? It was the one time I only saw that commercial once, and that was like during a time where I kind of slowly stopped. No, I think it was during that time where I was still watching TV. But like I was just randomly flipping through channels, and I happened to see it. And then when I went to go get it, there was one copy at the Target that I went to, because I think it was like a Target exclusive. And I went to the Target that was by my house, and they had one copy. And I was like, it was as if it was put here for me. And of course I bought that shit the first chance I got. There we go. And just one more thing. Overlay. 30. And let's try this. This is probably unnecessary, but I'm doing it anyway. That should be fine. It was Destiny. I'm certain if anyone had to prove to me that if Destiny existed, to me that would be one case. I'll be like, I'm pretty sure it exists to an extent, because that was a one-time thing, and I'm a huge ass Sonic fan, so that was definitely a thing. Same thing happened when it was when FuncoLand was still around, and I went to like the last one that was at the mall before it got bought out by GameStop, and there was one copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in the store, and it was in front. It was like it was in the very front of the store, like just out in the open, in like a plastic wrap, and they were selling it for $6. And I was like, if I don't buy this now, I'm never going to find it again. And so I bought that copy. And this was back when I had like very little money, so I think I was still in high school. No, I wasn't in high school. I think it was like my first year in college. And I was like, if I don't buy this now, I'm never going to find this again. So I bought it for the Genesis. You're hearing your deer get used to it. I'm about to stop soon. But welcome. Okay. And pretty much done with Kou. I'm gonna do this blur nonsense thing that I always do now. Change you to a 4. Put it on multiply, even though I don't think it does anything for the way I draw it, but whatever. Still need to make a background though. Oh, you fell asleep? No worries. Put these two side by side now. What do I feel like doing for background? Something basic. Kind of in the headspace of keeping the backgrounds basic for character designs, because the background's not the focus. Maybe like give her like a semi jungle like background. Oh, you're going to take your sweet time, aren't you? Mostly just because the brush is huge. Might have to mess with it. So let's try this. I'll take a look at it later. The same 3-hour stream. Yeah. I just say short stream in the off chance that I finish it sooner than that. If that was like my main intention to do it that way. But it is what it is. I have no idea what the hell I'm doing right now. I'm just kind of drawing stuff. Actually, I kind of know what I'm doing. If I do it this way. This is gonna be weird. The way I'm going about this. You multiply. Yeah, this is gonna get weird. Forgive me if this looks unorthodox, because even I'm right now freaking winging it. Color palette looks like a battery. Yeah, it does. I don't know. Just kind of doing whatever right now. Let's see. It probably would look nicer once I put together what I'm doing. The last one is her eyes. I just did put the white in the middle of her eyes because the cream filled girls kind of do that. So I didn't want to make it confusing. Or the cream filled cast, I should say. 'Cause not all of them are girls. So much for being a short stream. I don't know. Like I said, I say short in the off chance that because that's my initial intention, is that it's short. But if it ends up as long as it is, then whatever. But I can always, like, you know, stop early if that was gonna, if I really wanted it to be super short. And then once this stream is over, I'll go back to working on commissions. Get those out of the way. I need to be more confident in shading when it comes to this kind of background. Short stack stream. Since we're doing that, let's blur this. Yeah, I know this looks kind of shitty. I'm just kind of doing whatever. Go away, alarm. Alarm's like, what are you doing? It's 3 o'clock. Not sure if I'll... No, I'll probably put the lighting on her anyway. Usually when I grab their colors, I turn everything off anyway. When I jump into their files. Booty worshipping time. Nah, she doesn't watch this. She's at work at this time. She's like aware of what I do, but not like all of it. Or no, like she knows I draw risque stuff. She just sometimes questions why people are commissioning my characters every once in a while, because she doesn't know how all that works most of the time. But other than that, she's supportive about it. She doesn't have a problem with it. It just took a while for her to figure out how Patreon and all that worked. Beckiana thrown in a sexy outfit. Yeah, hopefully that wouldn't be the case. That would suck. Well, at least this background looks less shitty. Still a bit I need to do, though. Still not the best, but I'm trying. Broccoli forest. Be funny if Kou didn't like broccoli for whatever fucking reason. And maybe that's why she's short. I'm seriously just throwing in whatever random nonsense that I think makes sense. That is a little too much. There's like some spots here and there. Happy little tree. Yeah, I'm gonna add the happy little tree right over there. And then the Family Guy joke where he's like, and if you ever tell anybody that that bush is there, I will come to your house and I will cut you. It's like, jeez. It's like, do not piss off Bob Ross. Oh god. Imagine if I drew Becky that way. You know what, let's make that a goal. A future goal. Just for the hell of it. Alright, I'll make it Becky Ross. And how many do I want to do? Make it a far off goal. There we go. So if I reach 200 followers, I'll make a costume for my avatar of Becky with a fro. Watch me forget that that was a goal. And then it'll pop up later down the line. I'll be like, what? And like, oh shit, that was a thing. Right? I'm gonna be like, what? Completely forget that I even did this. Becca's gonna look at that artwork and be like, what kind of sick fuck? There we go. She got much more than a simple background. Might as well do this part too. Off for a moment. This off for a moment. Go. Nah, If Becky did go through a phase, it'd likely just be goth related. No way in hell she would wear a fro. Alright, so here's Kou's back artwork. Gave her a little bit more than others, but that's okay. She's special. She deserved it since the contest winner from back then didn't want her. So she gets some special treatment. There we go. Save. But yep. There she is, all done. I will render this out. Alternates. Two. Sun Amy waking coming. Oh yeah. Like, I'm sure there's some pictures of Becky dressed up in some bizarre way while going through high school. I'm just saving these alternates for Patreon. Alright, so here we are. We're finally done. So you have her original look on the left and my rendition of her on the right. Thank you. Did some minor changes here and there, like simplified the spines on her back pattern on her tail, and then made it part of her, made it like decoration on her, rather than like scales or skin. And then changed the patterns a bit on her thighs, and then made the face pattern on her an actual skull. So yeah. Small changes, but I think it looks nice. But yeah, I will be posting this later. And yeah, thank you everybody for coming to the stream. I will try to stream again on Saturday. Today is Thursday, right? Is today Thursday or Wednesday? Thursday. Okay, yeah. So I'll try to stream again on Saturday. And can I take the cutie home? She will beat the shit out of you first and take you to her home instead. She'll smack you upside the head, drag your ass, and then romp the hell out of you. She will be breaking beds. But yeah, thank you everybody for coming. I will post this later. I'm going to take a small break, probably get something to eat, and then continue working on commissions. And like I said, hopefully I can get those done this week. so I can continue working on other stuff. But yeah, thank you for coming. You guys take care, alright? Bye-bye.